All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith, and Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is going to be based on a fire at a Havana oil refinery as Cuba's fuel crisis deepens. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. It says a fire broke out at a key fuel processing plant in the Cuban capital Havana, threatening to exacerbate an energy crisis as the country struggles under an oil blockade imposed by the United States. A large plume of smoke was seen rising above Havana Bay from the Nico Lopez refinery on Friday, drawing the attention of the capital's residents before fading as fire crews fought to bring the situation under control. Cuba's Ministry of Energy and Mines said the fire, which erupted in a warehouse at the refinery, was eventually extinguished and that the cause is under investigation. Said there were no injuries and the fire did not spread to nearby areas, the ministry said in a post on social media. The workday at the Nico Lopez refinery continues with complete normalcy, the ministry said. The location of the fire Salakia. The location of the fire was close to where two oil tankers were moored in Havana's harbor. Cuba, which has been in a severe economic crisis for years, relied heavily on oil imports from Venezuela, which have been cut off since the abduction of the country's leader, Nicolas Maduro, by United States forces last month. U.S. President Donald Trump has also threatened Cuba's government and passed a recent executive order allowing for trade tariffs on any country that supplies oil to the island. The country has seen widespread power outages due to the lack of fuel. Bus and train services have been cut, some hotels have closed, schools and universities have been restricted, and public sector workers are on a 4-day work week. Staffing at hospitals was also cut back. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned last week of a humanitarian collapse in Cuba if its energy needs go unmet. On Thursday, two Mexican Navy vessels carrying more than 800 tons of humanitarian aid arrived in Havana, underscoring the nation's growing need for humanitarian assistance amid the tightening U.S. stronghold on fuel. Yeah, this just goes to show how much of a devil Esau is. The so-called white man. He really has a hatred for us Israelites. So-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Americans. He really has a hatred for us. And he will do anything that he can to make our life miserable. And see, the Lord is allowing him to do that because that's punishment upon our people, especially these wicked 2/3. So as much as those of us of the hopeful elect hate to see our people going through all of this, we always have to keep in mind that this is punishment from the Lord ultimately. Experts in maritime transport tracking told the AFP news agency that no foreign fuel or oil tankers have arrived in Cuba in weeks. Cuba can only produce about 1/3 of its total fuel requirements. Cuba's Deputy Foreign Minister Carlos de Cosio accused the U.S. of carrying out massive punishment against the Cuban people in a post on social media Friday. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Esau is targeting, is still, or still, I should say, still targeting the Northern Kingdom. That's why he's hitting Cuba and Venezuela and, Mexico and all of that, because the Lord is using him to punish the Northern Kingdom. Say Cuba requires imports of fuel, and the U.S. is applying threats and coercive measures against any country that provides it, the deputy minister said. Said lack of fuel harms transportation, medical services, schooling, energy, production of food, the standard of living, he said. Massive punishment is a crime, he added. Mexico's president, Claudia Sheinbaum, has said her government seeks to open the doors for dialogue to develop between Cuba and the U.S. and has criticized Washington's oil restrictions as unfair. And they are, but this is who Esau is. This is who Esau is. And the Lord is letting this devil show his horns. But like I said, this is also the Lord bringing judgment upon his people. But see, what majority of our people don't understand is that we're suffering here, but when the kingdom of heaven is established, our people are never going to suffer again. We're going to be perfect. We're going to get put back in our royal status. And Esau, the so-called white man, he's going to be the one suffering. He's going to be the one in chains. He's going to be the one in slavery. And his judgment is going to be double what our people had to experience. So all the suffering that our people have gone through over the decades, over the centuries, under Esau, and the suffering that our people still experience to this day under Esau, it's only temporary, and it's almost up. It's almost at its end. And the Lord is going to allow us to get our payback on these devils. Psalms 9 and 16. The Lord Yahweh is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hand. Higgaion Selah. And that's right. The Lord is known by his judgments. So everything that Cuba and Venezuela and all of these other countries, all these other Latin countries, these Northern Kingdom countries are going through, that's the judgment of the Lord being brought upon them. The Lord is punishing his own people because they need it, because they're out here being wicked. So them not having enough fuel, enough food, enough resources, that's them getting punished. Hebrews 10 and 30. For we know him that have said, vengeance belongeth unto me. I will recompense, saith the Lord. And again, the Lord shall judge his people. And the Lord is judging his people. The Lord is bringing judgment upon 2/3 of his people, making life very difficult for them. But like I said, this is all temporary. Those of us of the hopeful elect understand that. But these 2/3, they don't understand that. They don't understand that they're getting punished by the Lord, and the Lord is using Esau, the so-called white man, to do it. But see, the Lord deals with balance. You see, we're suffering now, but once our punishment is up, once our punishment is at an end and the kingdom of heaven is established, and our nation, the nation of Israel, is put back in its royal status, the level of punishment that we're going to put upon these other nations, especially Esau, through the power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, it's going to be more than what these heathens have done to us. And see, we're not going to do any wickedness. Every judgment that gets brought upon these heathens, especially these Edomites, it's going to be righteous. You see, what these heathens do unto us is wicked. But what we're going to do unto them will be righteous. And it will be double what they've done unto us. All according to the scriptures. And best believe, these so-called self-proclaimed white people, they're going to catch it the worst. And they're gonna catch it for 1,000 years. So, even though it may seem like Esau is doing all of this and he's just getting away with it, that's not the case at all. Esau is falling. And those of us who have been blessed with eyes to see, we can see it. We can see the downfall and the collapse of these Edomites happening. But like it says in Revelation 12:12, which I'm going to grab just, for further context. Revelation 12:12, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And Esau is going to up the ante. Esau is going to apply more and more pressure upon the world, and especially upon the Israelites, because he hates us the most. So all the attacks that Esau has been doing against our people, he's gonna ramp it up, because he knows that he has but a short time. He can see that his stronghold over the earth is failing him. Like his grip on the earth, it's starting to slip. The Lord is starting to remove that power. And Esau, he's scared. He's trying to act like he's not, but clearly he's scared. That's why he's all over social media crying about how they feel like they're going to be replaced and everybody's against white people and all of this. He's scared. He sees what's happening. He sees the writing on the wall. That's why he's trying to pop off these civil wars and these race wars, because he thinks that because he has that blessing of the sword that he's going to win, and that then, he'll be able to stay on top. He'll be able to stay in power, but that's never going to happen. The Lord gave him his chance to rule, his time to rule, and it was a short time. And now that time is almost up. And look at all the chaos and destruction that Esau has caused within that short period of time. Job 14:5, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. And that's right. And that's why these Edomites are falling. That's why Esau is getting exposed left and right for being a murderous, colonizing, rapist, pedophile. That's why his own woman is turning against him. That's why these Edomites can't catch a break now, because we're in the last leg of their wicked rulership. And once these devils go down, they are never going to rise again. And the world is going to rejoice at that, because nobody's going to suffer anymore. The world is finally going to be able to rest when these Edomites are finally put in chains. And then after 1,000 years of the most hardcore, brutal slavery that any nation has ever experienced, these Edomites are going to get rounded up. And by the hand of his people Israel, the Lord is going to erase these Edomites right off the face of the earth. You're not going to see any more pale people. No more blonde hair, blue-eyed, pale skin, none of that. They're going to be gone, removed. These Edomites are the only nation that have no repentance. There is no repenting for them. There is no, forgiving them for their wickedness and that, and letting, bygones be bygones or whatever. Like, nah. Like, we're in the final stages of these Edomites' rule, and once it's game over, it is game over. There is no them going down again for a short period of time and then them rising up again, and no, like, this is it. So, and and this applies to those of us Israelites wherever in the world we are. Whatever suffering you're going through, it's only temporary, and it's almost up. It's almost over. Just gotta hold on. Especially those of us in this faith. We gotta stay locked in. Stay locked into this truth. Keep reading scriptures. Stay prayed up. Keep watching brothers' videos. Keep hastening the day. Hastening the day that the Lord brings that ultimate destruction upon this earth, and he frees his people from these shackles of slavery. But with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash, the Wadi Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, for putting his spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to all the sincere believers. I hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up. And Adawan Ratazah. Until next time, Shalom.